Good morning, everyone. We've got breaking news from Washington, bit of a bombshell out of the political world. NBC News has learned that House Speaker John Boehner will resign from Congress at the end of next month. He, of course, has been Speaker since January 2011, has just recently met with Pope Francis, perhaps a high in his long career in the United States Congress, and somebody who has obviously faced some leadership challenges himself.
And was going to face some more in the near future. No question, he's been a popular speaker with some, not so popular with others. We've got Chuck Todd on the phone. Of course, he's the moderator of Meet the Press. Chuck, how big a surprise is this? Can you hear me?
Look, it's a huge, on one hand, it's a big surprise, and that I thought he would fight to keep his position. Look, he was in peril. His folks 2 months ago were telling people very quietly this potential challenge to his leadership position was as great as he's ever faced before. He did not have a pathway out of this, and so it appears to me that the Speaker decided the best way to prevent a government shutdown and to delay this fight inside his own party was to resign. And I think this will prevent a government shutdown in the short term.
Can you explain that, Chuck? How would that work? What do you mean? Why would this delay it?
Work because they were look, funding runs out at the end of this month, October 1st. This is all about this fight to defund Planned Parenthood, those Planned Parenthood videos. There's a large contingency on the right that feels as if the Republican leadership needs to fight harder, fight the Democrats with more legislative and procedural maneuvers to force the president to have to deal with these bills. Mitch McConnell and Speaker Boehner have not wanted to do this. They believe Democrats have the vote to prevent it, and they thought it was inevitably going to lead to a shutdown. But Boehner was in this box. If he didn't fight, there was going to be an insurrection where they were going to vacate the chair in the House of Representatives. Any member of Congress can bring to the floor a motion to vacate the Speaker's chair. That was going to happen, and he was going to need Democrats essentially to save his speakership. I think he believed politically that put him in basically an untenable position. So he chose to diffuse this himself now, leave on a high note. I tell you, he basically put his party before himself. It is an interesting decision, and like I said, it will delay this fight. There will be a big leadership fight still.
Right.
Probably now toward the, and there may be a government shutdown fight in 3 months, but this will delay all that for at least 3 months.
And obviously, if this doesn't happen till the end of October, but then it does happen, it creates a vacuum or a void, and you talk about a leadership fight. Who are we looking at? Who might assume that position?
I think you're going to hear 3 names very quickly. One is the current number 2 in the House, Kevin McCarthy. He is a California Republican. He's the one that replaced Eric Tanner after Eric Tanner, the former number 2, lost in his own Republican primary. You're going to hear a lot of chatter about Paul Ryan. In the past, he had said no, the former vice presidential running mate to Mitt Romney. He could be the guy that could heal this party. He would be the most popular pick, I think, in the party, but he does not. He's not a big fan of the politics that goes with the job. And then the conservative, the guy that may be the biggest conservative who has a shot at winning the speakership is a Texas Republican by the name of Jeff Hensarling. He is somebody that has more trust with Tea Partiers than he does with the so-called establishment. You're going to see, by the way, a split among Republicans in the House that looks like the presidential race. The establishment versus the outsiders. In this case, the outsiders are the conservative Tea Party members. They believe that Boehner, they believe that Tanner were never with them. McCarthy, they like, but they don't know how much they trust him.
Right.
It's going to end up being a fight between McCarthy as sort of the establishment guy, and then maybe this Jeff Hensarling or somebody else, outsider conservative.
Chuck, not to put you on the spot on short notice, is there some event, some achievement that Speaker Boehner will be remembered for?
Look, I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I think his legacy has been his struggle to tame this party. He has tried to bridge the divide between the establishment and the conservative base. And frankly, by having to resign, I think it's a concession that he did the best he could for 4 or 5 years, but he now needs to have someone else do it because he can't do it anymore. I think, look, he did it better than I think he gets credit for, and over time he'll get more credit. But right now, this is a tough way to leave, although I think the Pope's visit is sort of a nice little capstone for him personally.
Now, obviously meant a lot to him personally. John Boehner, member of Congress for almost 25 years, swept into the speakership after the 2010 elections where Republicans made huge gains.